Sooner Scoop HD.
Porter, obviously, tough game, back and forth in that second half. What did you see, especially down the stretch, the second half, as the game kind of went back and forth? They made a couple shots. Just what did you see down the stretch?
I thought both teams guarded at a high level. I thought we guarded at a high level, then they went to some ISO. Kind of same as what Arkansas did. They just ISO'd us. But the difference was the offensive rebounds. The 50-50 balls and offensive rebounds, it was deja vu with Timmy Allen. Go watch last year's game. Under a minute, Timmy Allen came flying in and got an offensive rebound. That was huge. We got to come up with that rebound. We didn't have discipline on two of Rice's shot fakes. We know he shot fakes and left our feet, and the kid made the three free throws. But I saw, I thought our guys really, to guard one of the most athletic, offensive, powerful teams in the country, I thought we really guarded them at a high level. Until the second half with those rebounds. You can't give an offensive team that many second chance points in the second half.
Go to Elias.
Or with Grant, he had 16 after a slow start in the first half, and then in the second, it seemed like they adjusted. What did you see Texas do that was a bit different on him in the second half?
Well, they were all over him the whole time. But it was like a boxer with body blows. I mean, he was, the second half, you go in the paint, they just took three, and they just surrounded him. They trapped him on ball screen. I think for him, we were asking him to do so much. I thought he had some spectacular plays in the first half. But over the long period of time, it was just like, it was like a boxer with body blows. They were just bringing the house to him. He had a really nice pass in the paint, I think, to Jacob for a big three. But that's what I just think they brought the house at him. But I thought he responded many, many times in the game. I mean, that first half they were doing the same thing, and he was getting by him.
You mentioned just how much you're asking him to do, the energy he brings in those moments in the first half. What are you learning about managing him from an energy standpoint?
Well, it's hard because he means so much to us. You want to get him off the floor. I'll say the same thing every time. I'll come back. I'll see 36, 37 minutes. I'm like, God, I'd love to get it around 33, 32. But it's hard because you want him on the floor. Los got his first Big 12 game. It's hard because but I got to do it, and I think it's, but these games are possession by possession. It's going to be like this way in the Big 12. I mean, sitting them 4 or 5 minutes in a row to get them rest is tough. I mean, I look at their two guards. Hunter had to play 30 minutes. He was 1 for 7. Carr played 36. He was 4 for 12. They were 5 for 19 between their two guards. I mean, you extend a lot of energy when other teams are coming after you, and then you're trying to guard them. And we asked him to do a lot. We're asking him to defend. So, for him. You look at the same thing with the other guards on the other team. You come at each other, and it's like body blows in a boxing match.
Go to Justin next.
Porter, you mentioned Los, this being his first Big 12 game. Passing vision on display again today, 5 assists. Just what did you see out of him against a really tough defensive team in Texas?
Man, there was times where he really sprayed the ball and got guys shots, and I want him to be more aggressive. I just got to continue to instill. I mean, when he was not aggressive, that's when he wasn't as effective, and he just got to know how much confidence we have. But man, there was 2 or 3 skip passes that he had. He has the ability and the vision that because he's long and to throw that. I mean, he had some. I just want him to keep being confident, know how important he is, and not hesitate. Same with Bijan. I want Bijan not to hesitate. I mean, I know they took a couple shots, which are good shots, but I want them to be more strong and aggressive because we're going to need that when you're all over Grant. I mean, they just can't defer to Grant. There was a couple times they were just waiting to get it to Grant. Like, man, you guys can start the domino too, and I gotta continue to instill in those two that you guys. That's why I'm playing multiple points to do that. You don't have to defer.
We'll go to Brian next.
That last minute, both the 3 that Los had and then Grant's kind of more desperation. What did you see on those 2? And did you get the looks that you wanted in those 2?
Yeah, I mean, like sometimes you can call timeout, but like they're tired too. Then you get them a chance to get their breath, lock in their defense. All right, but I felt we knew what we were doing. I mean, we skipped it to Los. He had a really, really good look, and that's what at those times you're like. if you feel like you're organized, you know what you want to do, you can, and it is. Now, once I've had it to where all of a sudden I don't like what's going on and I'll call timeout. But we wanted to attack. We knew what we were doing with the skips, and I thought Los got a great look. I thought he got a great look and didn't get it. But that's the decisions as a coach you make, because then you call timeout. They got a chance to press you on the sideline, not get it in, take you out of what you're doing. You got a chance to do a lot of different things like that. And on the miss, you go in and you get them scrambled. So I thought we had a really good look.
And Porter, you mentioned the aggression. How about Jalen Hill today and just the way he performed, especially second half?
I mean, he was incredible guarding. And then he made, I thought, 4 for 7, 6 rebounds, 14 points. I just think with the rebounding, the offensive rebounds they got, especially in the second half. But Jalen's just an absolute warrior effort I thought he had. I mean, when you break down to some of the stuff, I really think Marcus Carver's the hottest player in college basketball. I mean, you look over the last 4 games. I mean, what he did in that the other night, I don't care what team it's against. I mean, to hit 10 threes and to have 33 and a half, and he's super confident. I thought Jalen was terrific on him, and I thought offensively he did some really good things, and we needed that kind of performance to beat Texas from Jalen.
Go to James Hill.
Keeping Tanner on the floor, it's so important to you. But the way they were calling the game, he gets the 4 fouls, and Godwin's really good. That's a combo thing, but that's a tough situation to manage. That isn't to keep Tanner on the floor.
He was. So we made the decision, just like when Grant got 2 at Florida, that I just didn't want to sit him for 10 minutes. And man, he came in, he got a basket, and then he got a steal that led to an and one. And then he came out, and I was just pumped it up. I'm like, they got him going again. And then they kept on, they got it, and they initiated contact. And it's just really hard because Tanner's trying to stay in there physically when they go at him. It's like the first half. I mean, the worst call of the game was the flop. We got to do something in college basketball about that play. I mean, they went down. Jacob Groves is in legal guarding position. I just watched it. Hand went extended, and he went down. There was contact. A flop is no contact, like he's flopping. There was contact made right there. And that's a free throw. It's a 1-point game. It's a free throw. In the second half, they came after Tanner, and Tanner held his ground, and then they called a blocking foul on him twice. With Tanner, he's very aggressive, but I thought he did some good things. Man, that was a 5-point swing when we put him back in there with 2 fouls in the first half. He got that steal and one and a basket. But when another team initiates the contact, you got to be that flopping foul. Though, as coaches, we got to be really vocal in the country about this thing, because to get a flopping call on a legal guarding position when the guy extends the arm is not right. To give a technical foul on that, it's got to be either such an egregious flop to give a technical, because it's a 1 point. It's got to be an egregious flop. If there's contact made, it's either an offensive foul or it's a no call, because there's contact made. All right, a flop is a complete no contact, and that has got to be. We talked about it in the beginning of the year that this is going to come down. There's going to be plays on that, and it was a flop. But back to Tanner's question, my mind went awry, as it does. But I feel like, God, he played hard, and they came after him, and he unfortunately got in foul trouble.
Go to the back, we'll Callaway.
Me?
Yes.
All right. I just want to ask you, Porter, about the crowd.
Yeah.
Whilst Allen C was rocking like he was today, just what that did for you guys.
It's the first pretty much thing I said on the radio. I said, thank you. Please come back. Don't lose faith. Don't lose confidence. You made such a difference. Since I've been the head coach, that's the loudest I heard it in there. In the 2 years I've been there, it's the loudest I've heard it in there, and they made a huge difference. And I hope they walked out going, man, this team played really, really hard against one of the best teams in the country, and we fell 1 point short. And I'm disappointed in that. I'm disappointed that we finished 1 point short in that. But OU fans and OU Nation, please come back, man. You make a difference, and that became a hard place to play today with that, and you made a difference for our guys and everything. So that's what I said that on the radio right away. Come back, please.
Stand back.
Yeah, just
You mentioned Big 12 play and how difficult it is with the game right there for you guys to win. How tough is it to be 0-1 now, knowing what you have left this season?
Well, for us, I mean, I'm just thinking about this game today. I'm going to go back and spend my New Year's Eve watching this and breaking down how we can do better. I'm going to dig into Iowa State. I don't look ahead. I'm looking at one game at a time in this league. And what we got to do is learn whether you win or lose in this upcoming weeks. You got to know why you won or why you lost. Address it, and put it in the bank. And turn right around and get it. If you're going to hang your head, you got to have great preps every game. You got to be mentally ready, physically ready. So I think we know why this game that the offensive rebounds in the second half, and that really they just started icing on. I mean, there's a lot to build on, man. Our defense at times was just outstanding. But you got to put it in the bank, win or lose, learn, move on, get ready. Now an Iowa State team that just beat Baylor.
Sooner Scoop HD.